Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's your business to figure out what's happening on the search engine optimization, search engine marketing front, which is why I like to bring my friend Beth Guide here on the program. She is with SEO 411, and what a cool group, big enough to be able to take care of the needs of even some of the largest companies out there, small enough to give the kind of individual attention that businesses of all size expect. It's really a unique business model you've developed.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. We work for all size businesses.
All size, and
yeah,
that's what's so cool.
We don't discriminate.
And you have packages that are appropriate for all sizes.
Yes, we do. We look at each customer individually and assess what their needs are and price it based on that. I don't have a pre-cut price model that may or may not meet the needs of that customer, which a lot of people, they'll give you a flat price, and that flat price doesn't actually do much of anything. So it's a very tenuous situation if you don't know how to base the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. And it seems to be, when my poor email gets at least 4 or 5 emails daily saying we can do your SEO and we can do it cheap. And what I don't think people have come to realize is that with 20 million plus unemployed people looking for a job, most of whom have computers, there is very low overhead starting an SEO firm. Very, very low. Not a good SEO firm,
right.
but
right.
An SEO firm. A lot of people are going to call themselves that overnight. They know that it takes a while to prove whether or not it's going to
Sure.
work. And, it's almost the technological equivalent of the guy with a pickup truck with 30 different signs in the back of his pickup truck, based on how much trouble each of those businesses, those signs reflect are in
right.
at the moment. Isn't that true?
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. Anybody can say they do it. To do it right, though, is the real trick. Google years ago made it easy for people to do SEO. And what they found is by doing that, they made it easy to kind of game their system. So they have made the rules much harder. So anybody that says they can do SEO for $100 or $200 a month it's not possible, because you have to be doing things like press releases and video and graphics and content and social media. And there's all these components that if you don't do all of them, you're not going to rank. And that's the piece it is. So you're not going to get an entire IT department for $100 a month. It's
mm-hmm.
just not it. So save your $100 and don't spend it, because
just don't spend it.
It's not worth it.
Just to be able to say you have an SEO guy, lie and say you have one, but don't pay this guy $100 just to say you have one.
That's right.
Go out there and make an investment that's, appropriate for what's required.
And that's what we see. And we see a lot of businesses make that mistake. And then I get the people that call me and say, well, you gave me a price, but this guy over here, I called another company and they say they can do it for $200. And the reality is,
and ask them to name their clients.
Well, there's that. And the other thing is, how long do those clients stay? And, by the time you figure out they've done nothing for you, you're anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 down the road and nothing to show for it. So everybody seems to come up with a price point that doesn't allow the job to be done, but them to collect money until you figure out that they're scamming you.
Yeah.
So it's an unfortunate situation as far as I'm concerned in that regard.
No
and then honest
question.
people like me struggle along because and I shouldn't say struggle, but we have to make a better argument because we're asking for the proper price to do the job correctly.
You're asking for a price that reflects economic reality.
That's right. That's right.
No one likes that. So, overall though, it sounds to me from listening to you that, again, what's interesting about, the folks there at SEO 411 and Beth Guys, they've been doing this now for longer than you realize that SEO even existed.
15 years.
Yeah. Well, did you call it SEO in the beginning?
Yeah, it's always been that.
It's always been called that.
We didn't call our company SEO 411. When I basically had a web design business, and people would say to me, why am I not number one on Yahoo?
Right.
That was always the thing. So it was always, SEO from that standpoint, but it goes back way before Google ever even arrived on the scene.
Yeah. And so that's always been the terminology, the industry terminology.
Yeah,
That's interesting. And I guess that was probably developed by the search engines itself.
I don't really know where the term came from.
Probably not. People
I mean, they're
were
just
trying to break the system. Probably came up with this.
That's probably more accurate.
So you talked about the rules changing. You know, anyone even with a kind of a vague view of what's happening with SEO, I've heard of terms like panda and penguin, and you know,
that's right.
It's always words that begin with a P, and they're black and white animals. So, well, you know, you make the prediction as to what the next one's going to be. But talk a little bit about those rule changes.
Well, what they did is they went through, and you mentioned penguin and panda, and that's pretty much monopolized the scene for the last 2 years. And what that talks about is thin content, meaning pages that don't have a lot of substance to them. They're not engaging. They don't, they don't encourage the reader to read the page, basically. And they penalized for that. And then they also went after links, and that was in the penguin era. That was that change. The thing is they want you to get links from quality people. They don't want you to go to Pakistan and buy, 5,000 links and have them pointed at your website. They don't want you. They want people to naturally say and endorse a page. And that's what the linking system was originally set up for. Of course, people came in and exploited the system. And now they're coming back and they're saying, hey, wait up a minute. We're going to start going after those bad links, link networks, link farms. We're going after all of them. We're going to shut them down, and we're going to not count those links to your website, and we're going to penalize you. Yeah.
What are things that go into the value of SEO? That makes it go higher. Obviously, external links pointing back to your site.
Quality external links.
Quality external links. Right. People could buy 1,000 domains and put WordPress pages on them, and they could have links to go back to your document, but they're going to know pretty quick.
Yeah, they get zero credit for that now, and if they catch you doing that, they'll ban you. I mean, right. It's really pretty. You can't. Those days of that are gone.
So quality links. What are some other factors?
Engaging content. So when I put up a page of content, I just can't write about a keyword anymore and do it in a very non-mechanical way.
Right.
Now it has to be engaging and have a point. And if I'm gonna talk about something, it better have some substance and value to it, and not just be being written to game the system, if you will. Mm-hmm. Videos, you have to, try to get your readers, have your content supported with videos, have them supported with, press releases, all these things that we're having to look outside. We estimate I shouldn't even say estimate. I know it takes a team of 5 people now to get a website ranking well, because of all the different cross sections of things that you have to be able to, tool sets that you have to do to it.
Explain that. Elaborate a little bit with a minute left.
Well, I have to have writers, I have to have editors, I have to have designers, I have to have videographers, I have to have people that understand how to write a press release properly.
Oh, I see.
There's
so you have to have at least 5 different skill sets.
Yes.
So you might have 3 people, but 2 of them better have a couple of skill sets.
But it's very odd that you have them, because some of them are left brain and some of them are right brain. Some of them are mathematic functions and some of them are creative functions. So you really don't find a person that has both of those skill sets very often.
Yeah. So how viable or important is like PageRank from Google?
PageRank isn't. I'm going to say they say they don't really count it anymore. It's kind of gone over to what they're calling like a domain authority now. How many good quality links are pointing at a website? They've kind of diminished PageRank. They've kind of hit it now. They play with it. They don't really want people to know what those PageRank values really mean.
Do you think they still have value?
I know they still have value.
Yeah.
I know they still have value, but they're changing how they're calculating it. It's a moving target. And if you notice, they've kind of removed that out of their toolbar. It's kind of hard to get a handle on, what a page rank is on a website these days.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we kind of we always say look more at like domain authority now. How powerful is that domain? And that's quantified by what quality links are pointing at it.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. As always, you can see why we have Beth on. Beth Guy, she is with SEO 411. She keeps me, I always walk on, I always feel like I went to class. It's a short class, but I always feel like I went to class whenever I have her on. I want to encourage you to check her out, SEO411.com. Beth, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
You bet. When we come back, we're going to have more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here. It shows up over there at usdailyreview.com.